Okay, so now that you know a little bit about Pythagoras and his history, we're going to experiment with his theorem and the relationship that he found by drawing in the ground and using rope and things like that. So what you need to do is you need to go to desmos.com/geometry, and it should take you here. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a right triangle. A right triangle is a triangle that has one angle being 90 degrees. So you should go over here, click on the segment tool, and create a segment of a certain length. It doesn't, something not too small, not too big. Next is we need to create a right triangle. So we're going to go here to more tools, click on perpendicular line. It gives you steps. It says choose a line to set slope. So that's this line, and choose a point to set location. That could be this one over here or this one up here. It doesn't really matter which one we choose. I'm going to choose that one. And then we need this to be a triangle, so it's actually better if we do this polygon tool. So we're just going to click there, click somewhere over on this line, and then click over here, and then click again. And that's going to create this polygon, okay? Now we don't really need to see this perpendicular line anymore, but we're going to leave it for now. So here's a triangle that no matter how I move it around, that right angle will always be there, right? So you can see you can move it around and that right angle will always be there. We're going to go ahead and create some labels. So I want to click on each side and then click over here on the left hand side where it says label, because we want to get the side lengths for each of these sides. You might have to click on this one twice. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hide this guy just so he's not there anymore because I don't want to see that. Right, so to hide it, you click on it and you click hide. I just don't want to see that perpendicular line because it's not allowing me to click that side length. Okay, so what the Pythagorean theorem says is that if I square the two legs, right, so this long side is called the hypotenuse, and these two sides are called the legs. If I square the legs and add them together, that will give me the square of this side over here. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to construct a square on each side of the legs, and we're going to construct a square on the side of the hypotenuse. The square has to have side length equal to this leg. So this is how we're going to do this. We are going to again start with a perpendicular line, and we're going to do this side first, a short leg. You click on the leg, you click on this point. You click on the leg, you click on this point. That's going to create these perpendicular lines that we're going to use. Somehow I need to know where is this distance over here? How far out do I go, right? Where exactly is 2.86 centimeters? We're going to use a circle to give us that. So we're going to put the center of the circle on this point, and we're going to drag the center of the circle to that point. And now, since the radius of a circle is constant all the way around, this distance here is the same as this distance here. And so we have, we know that the other side of the square should be there. Okay, we're going to do the same thing down here. We're going to click center of the circle on that point, and radius goes out to that. And so now we know that the other corner of this square is there. Okay, now that we know the four corners of the square, we're going to go to polygon, and we're going to go and just click on all four of those. And the last one, again, you just click on the final point. It gives you that. Right, so let's go ahead and select one of the sides just to make sure we did this properly. If we say, all right, I guess I'll do this one. If I click on that, you can see it's the same side length as that. Also, what I want you to do is click in the middle and click label. It's going to give you the area of that square. Okay, so you get the area doing it that way. Okay, so let's go and hide these circles. So again, you click on the circle, click on hide. Click on the circle, click on hide. That way they get out of our way. Click on this one, hide. This one, hide. Out of our way, and you can see we just have this triangle, and as I make this bigger, it's, the square goes along with us. Maybe what we can do is let's change this to a different color. Let's change it to red. That way it doesn't look different from this. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing for the other two sides, and I'll walk you through it again. We start with perpendicular line. We'll do this leg next. So you click on the leg, click on this point, click on the leg, click on this point. That gives us, the perpendicularity, the 90-degree angle. Click on the circle. You go center of the circle at the corner of the triangle, and then the edge of the circle there, center here, edge there. And again, what that tells us is it tells us these two other points that are on our square, right? Once you have all four corners of the square, we go to polygon, and we go and just go around all the corners of the square, clicking each time. And on the last one, you click twice, and there's that square. And again, we're going to go ahead and click on the square, change it to a different color. Let's say green for this one. And also we want to label for the area. And then we're going to click on these circles and hide them, because otherwise it gets really distracting to have all this extra information everywhere. So you want to go through and hide all of this stuff. And so we're there. Right, so one more square over here to make. Same thing, perpendicular line, click, 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 click. Get your circle out, center at 1. The other one all the way over here on the vertex of the triangle. Center on this vertex. Edge there. Get your point tool. That just told us the corners of this are there and there. All right, and then you go to your polygon tool and you start clicking on all the corners of this square. And the last one you click twice and you get that. Go ahead and select that square, give it a label, and let's change the color to this one to maybe purple. There you go. And then we're going to one last time go ahead and just hide the rest of this stuff that's not necessary. All right, so what I want you to notice is you now have a triangle that will always be a right triangle. You can move it around as much as you want, and those squares will always be there, and they will always have the same side length as of the side of the triangle that it touches. All right. Okay, so we're gonna go and experiment with this. Before we do that, I want you to go ahead and click on this tool up in the right-hand corner of your Desmos activity. And then I want you to click on Show Grid. Okay, so we're going to show the grid so we can see a grid in the background. And the reason we're doing that is we're going to go ahead and use this grid to kind of help us get whole numbers here. So go ahead and drag these points until you have one of the side lengths being 3, and then you can drag this other one so maybe you can have a side length of 6. Right? So what I want you to notice is so the side lengths are 3, 6, and this one's 6.71. But I want you to notice the square of each side length, right? So it's 9, 36, and 45, right? So leg 1 squared, leg 2 square, and hypotenuse square, right? So we're talking about the squares here. In this case, we have 9, 36, and 45, right? So I want you to think about what's the relationship between these numbers, and can you use it to start making predictions, right? So I want you to go and create a table like this. It doesn't have to be in Word. You can write it on a piece of paper. And I want you to do this for 5 or 6 different ones of these, right? So once you have it like this, you can go ahead and just kind of move this up, and you could do 4, and then 4, and I'll move this one to, let's see if I can get it right on something. Let's do it this way. There, there, and there. So it's 4, 4, and 32. So another example would be 16, right? This the area of this square is 16, the area of this square is 16, and the area of this square is 32. Right? And you start noticing this pattern. I want you to write this down 5 times and then come up with a conjecture, right? What do you notice about the pattern here? What's going to happen every single time? So you should pause a minute, right, and do this, right? Get 5 different ones on here, write them down, write your conjecture, right? And then what I want you to think is, make yourself after you've written your conjecture, make yourself a new thing and say, well, what if this was A? What if this side of the angle was A? What would this and this side length was B? Not the square, but the actual AB, like the side length was A. Let me maybe draw a picture of it. So imagine you had a triangle that was a right triangle, right? Right triangle. And this side was A, this leg was A, this leg was B, and this leg was C. What would the relationship between these numbers be, right? So I want you to write that down, right? So what is the equation for Pythagorean theorem according to the patterns that you've observed up here? Also, before you quit this Desmos thing, I want you to go ahead and sign in and go ahead and save this and do this, label it. I want you to label Pythagorean theorem, right? I want you to save this for yourself and for me. Once it's saved, you'll get a link up here. This link is something that I may ask you to send me at some point, okay? So, and you want to have this on here so you can verify. And really what's nice about having this on here is sometimes it might actually do the math for you, right? If you get a problem and it gives you a triangle, you can almost create that triangle on here and then use it to figure out your solution. Okay, once you've saved that, There's another video that you're going to watch that is going to talk about a proof of the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so I want you to watch this. The link will be in Manage Back. Once you watch it, understand it, right? And then I want you to go out there. There are over 350 different proofs of Pythagorean theorem. So I want you to do an internet search and find another one, a different one from this one. Once you find it, I want you to go ahead and go to this Padlet that I've created. Again, the link will be on Manage Back. And I want you to write your name up here, right? So this is, and you're going to paste the link for this proof that you found, right? So you're going to paste this link in there, or even better, if you could upload a video or an image of it, that'd be even better. You're going to paste that in here, make sure your name's on it. And then once other people have this up here as well, I want you to watch theirs, and you can let me know that you've watched theirs by adding a comment to it. So I can't add a comment to my own, but you can add a comment to somebody else's, and at least mine is up there. So if you're the very first person on here, you get to be the person that adds it to mine. Otherwise, you should see other people up here are going to add comments to theirs. And you can add comments such as, what did you like about it? What was easy about it? Which one was the easiest to understand, or what was difficult to understand? But you need to add a comment to at least one other person's, all right?